I need to tell you about the night I kissed my best friend. The night that changed everything. The night I learned that sometimes the person you've been looking for has been right in front of you the entire time. My name is Casey Miller. I'm 24 years old. I edit videos for a living, and I've been hopelessly in love with my straight best friend for approximately 3 years, which is exactly how long we've been roommates, which is exactly how long I've been quietly torturing myself. Her name is Julianne Baker. Jules. Everyone calls her Jules. She's a kindergarten teacher with blonde hair that always smells like vanilla and green eyes that crinkle when she laughs. She's the kind of person who rescues spiders instead of killing them, who cries at commercials, who gives the best hugs in the world, long and warm and all-encompassing. She's also, as far as I knew, completely and utterly straight. We met in college. She was my roommate sophomore year, assigned randomly by the housing office. We clicked immediately. That rare, instant friendship that feels like coming home. We've been inseparable ever since. After graduation, when we both moved to the city, it made sense to get an apartment together, save money, keep each other company, continue being best friends. Except somewhere along the way, my feelings changed. Or maybe they were always there, and I just finally admitted them to myself. Either way, by the time I realized I was in love with Jules, we were already living together, our lives completely intertwined. Too late to back out without destroying everything. So I kept it to myself, dated other women, tried to move on, failed spectacularly every time because nobody compared to Jules. Nobody made me laugh like she did. Nobody felt like home the way she did. And Jules? Jules dated men, a string of them, nice guys, boring guys. Guys who were perfect on paper but never seemed to work out. She'd go on 3, maybe 4 dates, then come home and tell me it fizzled. No spark, no chemistry, no feeling. I thought maybe she just had high standards, or bad luck. I never imagined that maybe, just maybe, she was looking in the wrong place. The night everything changed started innocently enough. It was a Friday. We were on the couch, half watching a rom-com, half scrolling through our phones. Jules had just gotten home from another failed date. Some guy named Brad or Brett or something equally forgettable. She sighed loudly, tossing her phone onto the coffee table. "That's it," she announced. "I'm broken." I looked up from my laptop. "What are you talking about?" "Dating, kissing, all of it." "I think something's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with you. Brad just wasn't the right guy. Brett, whatever. He clearly wasn't your person." Jules pulled her knees up to her chest, wrapping her arms around them. "That's just it, Casey. None of them are. I've been on dozens of dates in the past year. I've kissed at least 10 different guys. And every single time it's like kissing a wet fish. No butterflies, no electricity, nothing. Maybe you just haven't met the right person yet. Or maybe I'm asexual, or aromantic, or just fundamentally incapable of feeling attraction." She looked genuinely distressed. My heart ached for her. I wanted to tell her that she wasn't broken, that the right person would make her feel everything she was supposed to feel. But I couldn't say that without revealing too much. "You're not broken," I said carefully. "Maybe you're just overthinking it, getting in your head." "How would I even know?" she asked. "Maybe I don't know what good kissing is supposed to feel like. Maybe my expectations are unrealistic from all these movies we watch. Trust me, you'd know if it was good. Have you ever had a really good kiss?" The question caught me off guard. "Yeah. I have." "What's it like?" I thought about how to answer. About how to describe something I'd felt with other people but secretly wished I could feel with her. "It's like electricity," I said finally. "Like every nerve ending in your body lights up, your heart races, you forget to breathe. Everything else disappears except for that moment, that person, that feeling." Jules stared at me wistfully. "I don't think I've ever felt that. You will, when it's the right person. But how am I supposed to know if the problem is the person or me? Maybe I'm just terrible at kissing and that's why nobody wants to keep dating me. I seriously doubt that's the issue." Jules was quiet for a moment. Then she turned to me with an expression I couldn't quite read. "Will you help me?" "Help you with what?" "Practice kissing." I almost choked on my water. "What?" "I'm serious. You're my best friend." "You're gay, so it won't be weird. And you clearly know what you're doing. Help me figure out if I'm the problem. Jules, I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? We're both adults. We're friends. It would just be practice, like a science experiment. I wanted to say yes more than I'd ever wanted anything in my life. And that was exactly why I should say no. Because kissing Jules, even as practice, even as a joke, would destroy me. I'd been keeping my feelings locked away for 3 years. One kiss would blow the door wide open. But she was looking at me with those green eyes, pleading and vulnerable, and I've never been able to say no to her. Okay, I heard myself say. Fine. 1 kiss. Just to show you what it should feel like. Jules's face lit up. Really? You'll do it? 1 kiss. That's it. And then we never talk about this again. Deal. She scooted closer to me on the couch. My heart was already racing. This was a terrible idea. This was going to ruin everything. But it was too late to back out now. How do we do this? Jules asked. I don't know. How do you normally kiss people? Awkwardly, apparently. I laughed despite my nerves. Okay. We'll set a timer, 30 seconds. That's enough time for you to get a sense of what good technique feels like. But short enough that it won't be too weird. That's very scientific of you. I'm trying to make this less awkward. Is it working? Not even a little bit. We both laughed. The tension broke slightly. I pulled out my phone, set a timer for 30 seconds, placed it on the coffee table. Ready? I asked. Jules nodded. She looked nervous. I probably looked terrified. Okay. Come here. She moved closer. We were facing each other now, knees touching. I could smell her vanilla shampoo, see the nervous flutter of her pulse in her neck. Just relax, I said, more to myself than to her. Don't think about it too much. Just feel. Okay. I reached out, gently cupping her face with one hand. Her skin was soft, warm. She inhaled sharply at the contact. I'm going to kiss you now, I said quietly. Okay. I leaned in slowly, giving her time to change her mind, to pull away, to laugh this off as a ridiculous idea. She didn't move. Her eyes fluttered closed. And then I kissed her. Soft at first, gentle, just lips touching, testing. She was stiff, nervous. I pulled back slightly. Breathe, I whispered. Relax into it. She took a breath. I kissed her again. This time she responded, her lips moving against mine. Soft. Tentative. Sweet. I forgot about the timer. Forgot we were supposed to be practicing. Forgot everything except the feeling of her lips on mine. The small sound she made in the back of her throat. The way her hand came up to rest on my shoulder. The timer went off. Loud. Jarring. We both jumped slightly. I started to pull away, but Jules's hand moved to the back of my neck. Her fingers tangled in my hair, and she pulled me back. The kiss changed, deepened. Her lips parted. Her tongue touched mine. It wasn't tentative anymore. It was desperate, hungry. Like she'd been starving and finally found food. I forgot to breathe. Forgot to think. I just kissed her back. Everything I'd been holding in for 3 years pouring out in that moment. My other hand moved to her waist, pulling her closer. She made another sound, softer this time, and it sent electricity through my entire body. Time stopped meaning anything. The timer had gone off ages ago. We should have stopped. We didn't. Finally, we broke apart, both of us breathing hard, staring at each other. Jules touched her lips with her fingers, her eyes wide with something like shock. Something like recognition. Oh, she whispered. Oh my God. Jules, I started. I don't know what I was going to say. Apologize? Confess? Pretend it meant nothing? I'm not broken, she said, still staring at me. Her voice was filled with wonder and confusion and something else I couldn't identify. Casey, I'm not broken. That was real. That was what it's supposed to feel like, isn't it? I couldn't speak. I just nodded. Why doesn't it feel like that when I kiss men? The question hung between us. I knew the answer. I thought she might be starting to figure it out too, but I couldn't be the one to say it. She had to get there herself. I don't know, I said finally. Maybe you just kissed the wrong people. Or maybe, Jules said slowly, I've been kissing the wrong gender. The words hit like a physical blow, hope and terror all at once. Jules stood up abruptly. I need to think. I need to process. I need time. Okay. That was okay. Right? As practice? Yeah. That was fine. She nodded, started to leave, stopped, turned back. Thank you, she said quietly, for being honest about what it should feel like. Then she disappeared into her bedroom, leaving me alone on the couch, my lips still tingling, my heart racing, wondering what the hell I'd just done. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed replaying every second of that kiss. The way she'd pulled me back when the timer went off, the desperate hunger in the way she'd kissed me, the look on her face when she said I'm not broken. But I also remembered her panic, her need to process, her uncertainty. I'd crossed a line, maybe irreparably. The next morning, I avoided her. I left for a coffee shop before she woke up, spent the day working remotely from various public spaces, came home late hoping she'd already be in bed. She wasn't. She was on the couch, still in her pajamas, surrounded by her laptop and approximately 7 different tabs open on her screen. Hey, she said when I walked in. Hey, can we talk? My stomach dropped. Sure. I sat down, keeping distance between us. Jules closed her laptop. I've been researching, she said, all day. Reading articles, taking quizzes, going down Reddit rabbit holes. Okay. Do you know what compulsory heterosexuality is? I did, but I shook my head, letting her explain. It's when society conditions you to assume you're straight by default. When you force yourself to be attracted to men because that's what you're supposed to do. When you think something's wrong with you because you don't feel what everyone says you should feel. She paused. I think I might have spent my entire life experiencing compulsory heterosexuality. Jules. I'm not saying I'm definitely gay. I'm not saying I know anything for sure. But Casey, when I kissed you last night, that was the first time in my entire life that a kiss felt like what everyone says it's supposed to feel like. What are you saying? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm confused. I'm questioning everything I thought I knew about myself. And I'm terrified because you're my best friend and I don't want to lose you over this. You're not going to lose me. But what if I am gay? What if I've been lying to myself my whole life? What if every failed relationship, every lack of spark, every time I thought something was wrong with me was actually just me being attracted to the wrong people? Then you figure it out. You explore these feelings, you give yourself permission to question. Jules looked at me with those green eyes, vulnerable and scared. Did it mean anything to you? She asked quietly. Last night? The question I'd been dreading. I could lie, protect our friendship, pretend it was just practice like we'd agreed. But I was so tired of lying. Yes, I said. It meant something to me. Jules inhaled sharply. How long? How long what? How long have you had feelings for me? 3 years. Since we moved in together. Maybe longer and I just didn't let myself acknowledge it. 3 years. You've been in love with me for 3 years and you never said anything. You're my best friend. And you're straight. Or I thought you were straight. I wasn't going to ruin our friendship by confessing feelings you couldn't reciprocate. But what if I can reciprocate them? What if that kiss last night wasn't just good technique? What if it was good because it was you? Hope bloomed in my chest. Dangerous and intoxicating. Jules, you need to be sure. You can't just decide you have feelings for me because one kiss was good. You need to actually explore what you're feeling. Figure out if this is real or if you're just confused. How do I do that? I don't know. Date other women, maybe. See if the spark is there with people who aren't me. The idea of Jules dating other women made me want to throw up. But it was the right advice. She needed to be certain. That makes sense, Jules said slowly. Test the hypothesis. Exactly. But what about us? Do we just pretend last night didn't happen? I think we have to. At least for now. While you figure things out. Jules nodded. That seemed to be the end of the conversation. but neither of us moved. We just sat there, the space between us on the couch feeling like an ocean. Finally, she spoke. For what it's worth, that kiss meant something to me too. I don't know what yet, but something. Then she went to bed, leaving me alone with that confession, that tiny seed of hope that I knew I should crush, but couldn't quite bring myself to kill. The next week was torture. We were polite, friendly, surface level, like roommates who didn't know each other very well. All the easy intimacy we'd built over 3 years felt strained and awkward. Jules downloaded dating apps. She went on a date with a woman named Michelle. Came home and said it was nice, but there was no spark. Went on a date with a woman named Amanda. Same thing. Nice, but nothing. I tried not to feel relieved. Then, a week and a half after our kiss, Jules came home with an announcement. I'm going on a date with a guy, she said. My stomach clenched. What? His name is Eric. We matched on Hinge months ago, but I never responded. I reached back out. We're going to dinner tomorrow night. Why? Because I need to know. I need to test if the problem really is men or if it's just that I haven't met the right person. What if I'm not actually gay? What if I'm just not attracted to those specific women I went out with? And you think Eric is going to be different from all the other men you've dated? Maybe. I need to give it one more real try. Otherwise, I'll always wonder. It felt like a punch to the gut, but I understood the logic. She needed to be certain. Okay, I said. Good luck. Are you mad? I'm not mad. I just want you to be happy. She studied my face for a long moment, then nodded. The next night, I stayed in my room while Jules got ready for her date. I heard her singing in the shower, heard her blow-drying her hair. She knocked on my door before she left. How do I look? She asked. She was wearing a sundress. Her hair was curled. She looked beautiful. You look great, I said. Wish me luck. Good luck. She left. I stayed in my room, trying to work, trying not to check the time every 5 minutes, trying not to imagine her having a great time, kissing Eric, realizing that men were fine all along and it was just me who made her confused. 2 hours later, I heard the front door open, then close, then open again, then close again. I waited, heard nothing, checked the time. She'd been gone exactly 2 hours and 7 minutes. Either the date went really badly or really well. I emerged from my room cautiously. The living room was empty. Jules's purse was on the counter. Her shoes were by the door. Then I heard a sound from the bathroom. Someone crying. I knocked softly. Jules? The door opened. Jules stood there, mascara running, eyes red. She looked devastated. What happened? Are you okay? Did he hurt you? She shook her head. Worse. We kissed. I don't understand. We had dinner. He was nice, funny, attractive. Everything was going well. We got back to his car and he kissed me. And Casey, it was awful. Not because he was bad at it. He wasn't. It was technically fine. But I felt nothing. Worse than nothing. I felt sick. She started crying harder. I made him take me home early, told him I wasn't feeling well. And the whole way home, I realized that I was hoping it would be bad. I was hoping I'd feel nothing. Because if it was good, if I felt that spark with him, it would mean what I felt when I kissed you was just a fluke. Just good technique, like you said, Jules. But it wasn't a fluke. It was you. It's always been you, hasn't it? That's why no man has ever felt right. That's why every relationship has fizzled. Because I've been looking for something that doesn't exist for me. Looking for a feeling that only happens when I'm with the right person. And the right person is you. Are you sure? I asked carefully. You're not just saying this because you're emotional right now? I'm sure. God, Casey, I'm so sure. I've been lying to myself my entire life. Forcing myself to be something I'm not. And the craziest part is, I think part of me has always known. I think that's why I'm so physically affectionate with you. Why I sleep in your bed when I have nightmares. Why I change clothes in front of you without thinking twice. I've been treating you like a partner this whole time and just calling it friendship. What are you saying? I'm saying I think I'm in love with you. I'm saying I think I have been for a while and I was just too scared or too conditioned or too something to admit it. I'm saying that kiss wasn't just good. It was right. You're right. She was standing in the bathroom doorway, tears streaming down her face, mascara everywhere, looking like a mess and like the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. "Can I kiss you again?" she asked. Not as practice this time. For real. I didn't answer with words. I just closed the distance between us and kissed her. Soft at first, then deeper when she responded. She tasted like salt from tears, and underneath that, just like Jules. Like home. We broke apart. She was smiling through the tears. "Still feels like electricity," she said. "Yeah, it does." We stood there in the bathroom doorway, foreheads pressed together, breathing each other in. "So what now?" Jules asked. "Now we figure it out. Together. I'm going to be bad at this. I've never dated a woman. I've never been in a relationship with someone I actually feel this way about. We'll learn together. Promise you'll be patient with me. Promise you won't give up when I'm confused or scared or overthinking things. I promise." "But Jules, you have to promise something too." "What?" "Promise you're doing this because you want to. Not because you feel like you owe me something. Not because you're confused. Because you actually want to be with me. I want to be with you. I've wanted to be with you for longer than I've been willing to admit. I just didn't know what that feeling was. I thought it was just really intense friendship. Now I know it's love." She kissed me again. Softer this time. Slower. We had time now. We didn't need to rush. "We should probably tell people," I said eventually. "Our friends, they're going to have questions. Let them question. I don't care. I spent 24 years living for other people's expectations. I'm done with that." "What about your parents?" "We'll deal with that when we get there. One step at a time." We moved to the couch. She curled into my side, her head on my shoulder, my arm around her. It felt natural, like we'd been doing this forever. Maybe in a way we had. "Can I ask you something?" Jules said. "Anything." That night we kissed. When the timer went off, "Why did you try to pull away?" "Because I was trying to do the right thing. Trying not to take advantage. You said 30 seconds. I was going to give you exactly 30 seconds. But I pulled you back." "Yeah. You did. I don't think I understood why in the moment. But looking back, I think some part of me knew. Knew that if I let you go, I might never feel that again. And I was right. I haven't felt anything close to that with anyone else I've kissed since. Not even the women you went on dates with. Especially not them. It was like my body knew what it wanted and it wanted you." We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Jules spoke again. "I'm scared," she admitted. "This is scary. Coming out. Changing everything about how I understand myself. What if I'm bad at being gay?" I laughed. "There's no such thing as being bad at being gay. You know what I mean. What if I don't fit in? What if I don't know the right terminology or the culture or anything? Then you learn. And you'll have me to help you. And Jules, you don't have to fit into any boxes. You just have to be yourself. I wish I'd figured this out sooner. I wasted so much time. You figured it out when you were ready. There's no right timeline for this stuff." "Were you scared? When you came out?" "Terrified. My parents didn't take it well. I lost some friends. But I also found my people. Found myself. It was worth it. Do you think it'll be worth it for me? I think you'll never know unless you try. But yeah, I think it'll be worth it. Because you'll be living authentically. And that's worth everything." Jules tilted her head up to kiss me. Just a quick, sweet kiss. The kind that says, "I'm here. I'm yours. This is real." "We should probably figure out the logistics," she said. "We're roommates. If we're dating, do we share a room? Do we keep separate rooms? What do we tell the landlord? I think we figure it out as we go. There's no rule book for this. I like that. Making our own rules." We talked until late into the night. About expectations. About fears. About what this meant for our friendship, which wasn't ending, just evolving into something more. Eventually, we went to bed. Separate rooms still, because Jules wanted to take things slow, figure things out step by step. I understood. This was all new for her. But she came to my room an hour later, knocking softly. "Can I sleep here?" she asked. "I keep thinking and overthinking, and I just want to be near you." Of course. She climbed into bed with me. Not for the first time. We'd done this dozens of times over the years, platonic sleepovers, comfort when one of us was sad, movie nights that turned into falling asleep together. But this time was different. Because when she curled into my side, her head on my chest, my arm around her, we both knew what it meant. We weren't pretending anymore. "Casey?" she whispered into the dark. "Yeah? Thank you for being patient with me. For waiting. For not giving up. I would have waited forever. I'm glad you didn't have to." She fell asleep like that, peaceful and warm and finally mine. I stayed awake a little longer, marveling at how everything had changed. How one kiss, one moment of bravery, one truth spoken out loud had rewritten our entire story. The next few weeks were a learning curve. We told our friends. Most were supportive. Some were surprised. One or two made comments about how they'd always thought we had chemistry. We laughed about that. Apparently, we'd been the only ones who didn't see it. Jules came out to her parents. It went better than she feared, worse than she hoped. They needed time to adjust. She gave it to them. Said she'd spent 24 years adjusting to their expectations. They could spend a few months adjusting to her truth. We went on our first official date, dinner at a nice restaurant. It was both exactly like all the times we'd gone to dinner before, and completely different. Because this time, I held her hand across the table. This time, we kissed goodnight. This time, there were no questions about what we were to each other. We were together. We moved into one bedroom and turned the other into a shared office space. Gave our landlord some story about needing more space for work. He didn't question it. Honestly, I don't think he cared. Jules was hesitant about physical intimacy at first, not because she didn't want it, but because everything was new. We took it slow, let her set the pace. Every step forward was her choice, her timing, her comfort level. And gradually, she relaxed into it, into us, into being someone who loved women, into being someone who loved me. 3 months after that first kiss, we were lying in bed on a Sunday morning, lazy and content. She traced patterns on my arm absently. "I don't think I ever thanked you properly," she said. "For what?" "For helping me figure out who I am. For being brave enough to kiss me even when you were scared. For loving me before I knew how to love you back. You would have figured it out eventually. Maybe. But I'm glad I figured it out with you." She kissed me. Slow and sweet and familiar now. We'd kissed hundreds of times at this point. Each one still felt like electricity, like coming home. "Do you remember that night?" she asked. "When you said good kissing feels like every nerve ending lights up and you forget to breathe?" "Yeah." "Is that what this feels like for you? Every time? Every single time?" "Good. Because that's what it feels like for me too." Finally. We stayed in bed for another hour. Talking, kissing, being together. It was perfect. It was everything I'd wanted for 3 years, and everything she'd been looking for her entire life without knowing it. Later, when we finally got up and made coffee, Jules looked at me with that smile, the one that made her eyes crinkle. "You know what's funny?" she said. "What?" "I spent years thinking I was broken because I couldn't feel what I was supposed to feel with men. Turns out I wasn't broken at all. I was just waiting for you. You weren't waiting. You just didn't know yet. Maybe. But I know now." "And Casey?" "Yeah?" "I'm really glad you dared me to kiss you." I laughed. "Technically, you dared yourself. You asked me for help." "True. Best decision I ever made." She kissed me again, coffee forgotten on the counter, the morning stretching out ahead of us with nothing but possibility. And I thought about that first kiss. How she'd pulled me back when the timer went off. How that one moment of bravery, that one choice to not let go, had changed both of our lives. Sometimes the person you're looking for is closer than you think. Sometimes they're your roommate, your best friend, the person you've been doing life with all along. You just have to be brave enough to see it, to admit it, to kiss them and not let go when the timer runs out. Jules did that. She didn't let go, and neither did I. And now, 3 months later, living in the same apartment, sleeping in the same bed, building a life together that's both brand new and comfortingly familiar, I can say with absolute certainty that it was worth it. Every moment of uncertainty, every scared conversation, every risk we took, all of it was worth it. Because she was worth it. We were worth it. And every kiss still feels like electricity.